Sports. I'm sorry, I think you better take this. It's my wife might go Bears. Hey, Pumpkin, what are you doing? I'm Uberling. Very funny. Watch it. Watch it. Where's your mother? I love you. I love you too.
Oh, and you know about the
Yeah, just leaving them. Mankind's atrocities to man has no history. Hello again, and welcome back to Conversation Piece. This is Max Johnson, friend and colleague, and we've been sitting here kind of talking a little bit about the good, the bad, and the little bit ugly from 2010. Okay, we've covered a little bit of politics, a little bit of entertainment. I'm a little bit saddened when it comes to sports. I'm not a huge fan, but my Chicago Bears didn't make it again. I think I sat here a few months ago and declared that they would make it, but unfortunately they just didn't have the right stuff. I don't know, but
you can talk about that for 2010 and 2011. They still didn't make it, but we're talking about 2010 and the fact that New Orleans beat Chicago in the playoffs, and New Orleans moved on. And what also on the positive side of that picture, the fact that New Orleans won. Now, not only did they win that playoff game, but they went on to win the Super Bowl. And there are always stories about how a winning team affects the city.
Yes.
But in this case with New Orleans, that was amplified, of course, when you think about where New Orleans had come from Katrina.
Absolutely.
The role that the New Orleans Saints football team played in that, the camaraderie.
Yeah. And for that, I love the Bears. You know that about me. But I was really happy for New Orleans. It's a wonderful city. I had lots of good times there before Katrina. Mm-hmm. I went back after Katrina. It's one of my favorite places to be. The people there are a different kind. They're just so friendly and loving and creative, and it's just a whole different feel that you get there for people that they have for you when you're there visiting from outside. So I was really happy for them. I just thought for the team it was an enormous boost for them, and then they were the morale for the city, who, like you said, had come back from so much, and economically, it was the boost they needed. It was the shot in the arm they needed. I think that it just could not have happened to a better team or a better town.
Exactly. And the fact that it added a boost. Yeah. I mean, because fortunately things had begun to turn around, and the city was rebuilding and coming back, and folks were coming back. But then to have the Super Bowl winning team there just added to that. The obviously the football related sales that go along with that. Buying the jerseys and the pennants and the caps and all of that stuff. The fact that having the winning team, particularly in New Orleans, is going to bring more folks out. So you help the economy because the restaurants are doing better, the bars are doing better, and so that helps the food. And so just the connected things along with that would just make that story a very, very good story to see, feel.
I can still see and feel the excitement from their Super Bowl parade. I don't think I've ever seen one quite like that. I mean, those people were I don't know if it's off the chain. Do they still say that anymore?
Well, if not, they should for New Orleans.
For New Orleans, they were.
It's New Orleans,
it
right?
It was the Who Dat Nation all the way, and it was
on display.
Yeah, and I found myself yelling Who Dat for them, but just out of my head for just a little bit. I'm still gonna hold out for my Bears because. They're gonna come back. It may take them a little while, but they're gonna come back.
There you go. That's a good fan. That's a good fan. But before we move away from football, and also kind of in the South, we can talk about Mr. Michael Vick.
Oh yes.
In 2010, and the continuation of his turnaround, I guess is a way to phrase it.
Yes.
In 2010, he was released in 2009. He was able to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming into 2010, Philadelphia had gotten rid of their longtime quarterback of Donovan McNabb, but they named Kevin Kolb as the starter.
That's right.
So Michael Vick is the backup, but then in the very first game, Kevin Kolb gets injured. Michael Vick, as it turns out, Superman stepped in, did his thing.
Showed him what he was working with. That's why I'm excited about that for him. I got excited about that for him. He's my homeboy from Virginia. He very quietly went out, and he very quietly came in. And I know it sounds a little... The stories about the dogs and PETA and all of that was, splashed all over the place and yelled loudly by, naysayers that he wouldn't be able to come back from that. But he himself, I think, just kind of took a humble road and said, okay, yes, I did something wrong. I'm going to pay for it. I'm ashamed of it. But I am going to come back stronger. I am going to come back stronger. And I think he kept to his word. I think he kept to his word on all fronts because he's not been in the media for anything,
One little incident at the birthday party, but he turned out nothing he did wrong.
Right.
Some people criticize him for just having a party, but that's another. But he didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Was completely cleared in that. And otherwise, he has... since the time he has been out and signed with Philadelphia, he has walked the straight and narrow, if
Absolutely.
you will. He's done the things that you like a person to do.
And there are some people who even said that they feel that he's been rehabilitated to the point where they'd like to see him have a pet. That he could have a pet. He could have a dog that it would probably help him further, get along further in his rehabilitation. I think it was a matter of poor choices for him, I think.
Yes.
That was, and I think that that chapter is over and done with for him. I think we're going to see him again this coming season.
Do well.
Yeah, do
because,
very well.
And I really am not trying to get too sociological or psychoanalytic.
Okay.
But it's not just that he's done the right things. You mentioned making bad choices before. I mean, he knew right from wrong, but his mindset, his level of maturity was such that he felt that he was more important than right and wrong, and whatever he wanted to do, he felt he could do it, either clandestinely or just the fact that it was Michael. He felt he could do it, and I think he has gotten pulled back down into reality that no, you're not bigger than life and the rest of us, no matter who you are.
Right.
Right is right, wrong is wrong, and you need to govern yourself accordingly. And I think he's coming to understand that. And it also reflects otherwise, because understanding that also helps you to understand that, okay, I may be good, but if I want to be considered one of the best, I need to continue to work. I need to do the extra things to become better, which he has done in Atlanta.
And
we're not going to get too deep here.
Yeah, but it's not just my performance on the field.
It's what I do to prepare.
Yeah.
In Atlanta, he was not known for his preparation, what he did Monday through Saturday in terms of getting ready. that's turned around in Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
He is known to practice harder, to study harder, to do those little things behind the scenes to make him better on Sunday. And I think that that's an offshoot of maturity and understanding right from wrong, and that I'm a person like everybody else,
Yeah,
and
and
I
haven't
need
gone through
to
that
follow
whole
the
thing.
rules
Yeah.
to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So.
Yeah. But speaking of bigger than life now, the LeBron James story. King James, as he refers to himself. Did he name himself King James, or is that something the media you and I did?
Yeah, he fell into it, but he didn't come up with it. But it was kind of apropos. I mean, because that came up actually right at the time when he first got to Cleveland,
Yes.
to the Cavaliers, because he grew up in that area, and even as a high schooler, he had captured the attention of that area. He was royalty, if you will.
Yeah.
So, but then, right, the whole saga with the announcement. And
Yes, I've never seen anything like that.
it got to be a bit much.
Yeah.
It got to be a bit
Yeah.
much. But since I do have this forum,
Yes,
I
you
do want to bring up a point that when you look at people criticize the way he made the decision and doing the whole talk
Right.
show thing,
Right.
but look at it from the other's point of view. This guy, for the prior 2 months since the end of the NBA season, pretty much every day was getting asked the same question: what are you going to do? Who are you going to go with?
Yeah.
Now, there are other ways that he could make the announcement, but he was being pulled at by so many people to
Yes.
make that, people criticize him and his people for making a choice, but these people, they've got some intelligence. They're not all just stupid. And they were looking at it and saying, well, look, we got these people pulling us for this decision. We got these people. How can we do it and get the most of it, most exposure for us?
We can build it. We can.
Exactly.
If we build it, they will come.
And they did do something good in
Yeah,
that
they
the
did.
money that they raised went
Yes.
to, I believe, the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Outstanding. That was outstanding.
Exactly.
Yes, it was.
And so, yeah, I mean, you can criticize them making the final decision to do it that way, but don't go overboard with the criticism. They were a lot of
What do you
things.
think about people burning his jersey?
Actually, I can defend that.
Okay.
Because I can imagine them, if you're in Cleveland, you're a Cleveland Cavalier fan, you were hurt.
Yeah.
And since we're doing the show after, we're in 2011 doing this, we see how much they hurt them. It's been horrible. So.
Okay. All right. We have to go take a break now, but we'll be back.
Gotta start cutting off when you hear